News Talk 95.3 MNC, Michiana's news channel. Casey Hendrickson.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. You're listening News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Again, I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. And as always, this program triggered by Rocket Guns. You can check them out online at rocketguns.com or 7 blocks east of the courthouse in Goshen, Indiana. Rocket Guns is your Second Amendment headquarters, and the all-new Shoot to Thrill shooting facility is open for business with a new website, too, shoottothrillrange.com. Go check it out. Great facility to go shoot at. And they do rifle and pistol, by the way. And joining us right now is somebody that I've actually I told him when I messaged him the other day that I kind of trolled him for a long period of time. I've been a fan of his videos for a long time. AlfonZo Rachel from ZoNATION is joining us. AlfonZo, what's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I am really digging your band, 20 Pound Sledge, lately, man. I hadn't heard of them before, and I've been starting to watch the videos because you're the drummer.
I am the drummer, man. Sledge on. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very good stuff. I'm going to link to some of it. I do a daily show prep post on the blog every single day. I'll make sure I get your latest video in there. Now, AlfonZo, of course, runs ZoNATION, which you can see on pjtv.com, Pajamas Media. And one of the reasons I like you, man, is that, one, you're straightforward. Two, you're snarky, which is kind of like me. You like making fun of people. That's always good. But you're smart, too, and you take on issues that typically are going to get you a lot of hate mail and get you a lot of flack on social media. But how did you link up with PJ?
Well, I was doing videos on MySpace back in 2007. Got a pretty flattering following on there, and they said, hey, why don't you put these videos up on YouTube? So I put them up on YouTube, and I started doing my rants from there, and they went viral. And PJTV caught wind of it. There was I guess there was a discussion between Gary Sinise had caught wind of my videos.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere between Gary Sinise, Andrew Breitbart, and Bill Whittle, they kind of got into the ear of the execs over at PJTV and say, hey, let's talk to this guy and see if we can bring him on. I wasn't looking to be a pundit or anything like that. I just wanted to share these ideas because I got sick of seeing conservatives get beat up on over stuff that wasn't true. And so I just grabbed a camera and I started making videos, and I just wanted to play some rock and roll, man. But I wanted to share, you know what I'm saying? That's all I really wanted to do. And it's hard to do in a band, because, musicians tend to lead to the left, so
right.
They would get mad at me about some of the lyrics that I'd want to do. And I said, okay, well, if I can't do it with music, man, I'll just do it with this camera. And the rest is history, I guess.
Well, you got those three guys, because, Bill Whittle and obviously Gary Sinise, who everybody knows, and I watch yours and Bill's videos on a regular basis. Love you guys. So if you got them, in your corner, that's pretty powerful praise that you're getting there.
Yeah, indeed, man. I'm that's some bragging rights right there. But I won't brag.
Well, I wrote a blog post the other day, and I referenced one of the videos that you just had recently, and I just I sent it to you and was like, hey, did I miss anything on it? And I appreciate you taking a look at it. But you did a recent video, and it was on this lib-talker in Chicago. Now I don't even know who she is. I've probably heard her spew some stuff driving through Chicago because we're only 2 hours away. But, what is it that made you really decide to go after her? Because, she's been doing this for apparently a long period of time where she has, for those who don't know, is Stephanie Miller is her name? Is that it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and she, again, no notice I've ever heard of her. She apparently has this idea of how a black president is supposed to act. Mm-hmm. And she's been doing that for a long time. I found stuff 1 year and 2 years old where she was saying these sorts of things, and it's not what you would consider generally flattering for her to talk about wanting a gangsta rapper type president. So you kind of took on a bit of a response to her in the video, and we've been tying this together because you take on these cultural issues and these social issues, and I try to do that as well. And naturally, I get hit for it. I'm sure you get hit for it a lot. But what was it that set you off on this lady? Who approached you about her? Did you hear something? Because, you didn't know who she was either, did you?
No, I didn't know who she, and what she's trying to say, man, Bill Martin already said it. And I don't really have much respect for Bill Maher as it is, but once he didn't said it, it's already been said. So I don't know what she's trying to do. And, but she it did come across my attention. And she's a representative of the way that a lot of people do think. And on a side note, man, one thing that makes me sick is when people say that, who listens to these people and who cares what they think? Well, obviously a lot of people do listen to these people.
Sure.
And they do care what they think. Obama's been elected twice. Hello. So it's like, let's not underestimate these people. Let's give them their credit, because somehow they're making strides and they're taking this, country off a far left cliff. So, but her, what she said came across my attention. I just took it as an opportunity to do my part to help set the record straight. That these people, who claim to want to point the finger at conservatives and call us racist, it's like, no, this is a projection of your own sentiment. And you cowards, you point the finger at us and hide behind us, but all the while, these are your actual sentiments. This is what you think. This is what you actually think of us. You're the ones who have this negative perception of us and want to portray us. You're dependent on this portrayal of us to keep this stereotypical racist narrative going. You're dependent on it, and you hide behind conservatives to do it, you cowards.
And this has been kind of a narrative for them for obviously, a very, very long time, certainly throughout the modern age. And we run into it all the time, Alfonso. As I was at the first Tea Party in Las Vegas when we did that, of course, Herman Cain spoke right before I did. And the narrative is they're all white, they're all racist, they have these Nazi signs, and none of that was there at all, obviously. Right. And we had several people of various races that spoke at that thing, and we had, of course, the false accusation of the racist slur going towards the congressman that they can't provide any video evidence of, and Andrew Breitbart, of course, had that reward out. If anybody can prove it really happened, I'll pay you the money. And it never happened because it didn't happen. When you have that narrative now, we're in this internal conflict within the right now, Alfonso, where people are trying to decide, okay, how are Republicans going to reach out to minority voters now, which overwhelmingly go left, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, whether they've been deceived. We know that's the case. And I saw an article today that said if the GOP is going to woo minority voters, they have to stop, but the left is racist too mantra. And I've always been kind of the guy saying we don't expose that nearly enough.
Right.
And now I think people are starting to expose that, you being one of them. And now it seems like you just got a bunch of people in the GOP that just want to shut it down right now. We don't want any conflict here.
Yeah, that kind of burying the head in the sand has got to stop. Look, people are angry about the whole racist dynamic in America. They're still angry about it, and it's like, it's one of those things, and I'm sure, man, let's get over it already. Let's get over it. It's way in the past. These progressives talk about being progressives, yet they can't keep their mind out of the past and drag the people with them. Ain't nothing progressive about it. However, if people are going to be angry about racism, let's let them know who they actually need to be angry at. So, okay, you want to be mad about racism? Well, here's the party that did it. From the KKK to Jim Crow to Dred Scott to revocation of civil rights, all the way up to the fact that the Democrats shot Martin Luther King. If you're going to be mad about racism, hear your people. Be mad at them. So when conservatives and Republicans, when they can understand that they need to get that racist stigma off of them and put it back on the Democratic Party where it belongs, then they'll be able to advance, their economic policy, their foreign policy, so on and so forth. They'll be able to better connect these policies with people. But the Death Star of the Democrat Party is the race card. And Republicans have to be able to handle that before they can really connect with people. So
you want the Republican Party and the conservative right base to confront it head on, as opposed to burying their head in the sand like I saw today. I think I saw it on the Daily Caller, which is a little weird, but it might have been a guest post. I'm not really sure. So you want them to just confront it and start exposing it?
Absolutely. Let's not resort to the tactic of patronizing people. That's what Democrats do. We have to patronize them. Say, look, let's keep it real. We are what we are, and racism has nothing to do with it. These ideas aren't exclusive to. There's nothing. There's no white language in being pro-abortion. There's no white language in the fact that the government is stealing from us. That the 16th Amendment is a far left antithetical position in our Constitution. There's no white speak in there. This is a universal language that takes on all kinds for the benefit of all of mankind. There's no racist language in there. So we could just go ahead and keep it straight, put our ideas out there, but we know that there's this stigma that people have on us that keeps them from hearing us. We got to redirect that stigma, put it back on the Democrat Party where it belongs.
And you did that recently with Alvin Holmes, who, I mean, the fact the guy can come out there and say that, everybody in here who is pro-life would let their daughters abort the baby if the father was black. I mean, that was just some of the most offensive stuff that you can get, certainly racially charged. And it didn't get a lot of play, did it?
Play from who?
From the media. Yeah, people like you were out there obviously talking about it. I was talking about it, but in general, it wasn't on the nightly news. Yeah,
exactly right. It's one of those things where he could just say it fully racially charged. I mean, his statements were, and not only were they bigoted, man. I don't know if now for me, and I'm not trying to solicit an agreeing opinion on this, but for what I saw, it's like, dude, you are blatant. You want to talk about self-hate? Yeah. You can hear the contempt that he had for black men and the contempt that he had for black children. You can hear it in his voice. It's like, dude, you are projecting your hatred for your own kind onto conservatives and trying to say that it's us. Not true.
So, AlfonZo, where do we go from here, man? What do you think, aside from obviously confronting these things, the Republican Party needs to, and they should be, wooing everybody, obviously, because conservative ideals are universal, as you pointed out. So what do you think the best way to go about, aside from confronting and calling the left racist when they really are being racist, what's the best way to get minority voters?
The best way to get minority voters, I guess, one, let's not go with the language. Be careful with the language of that. Because like I said, we don't want to try to pair. That's fake. People want it genuine, want it raw. Speak like this. But I think in order for conservatives to do that, they really need to be mindful of their communication skills, and they got to get creative. We're supposed to be the party of the free market. If we're going to compete in the free market in selling this idea, well, we have to show it. We got to be creative, and it's going to take illustration. Consult. Start consulting with each other. Know the boundaries that you're going to push, and careful that you're not going to cross the line. That's going to end up saying something really stupid. So we got to be more communicative with each other to know, because we are a party that is populated by many different, cultures, colors, cultures, faith, and so on and so forth. So we got to communicate with each other. And, if we do that, we'll be enlightened on how to communicate these ideas.
And I love one of your recent videos, because I do this frequently. I'll go and I'll speak, AlfonZo, and what I'll do is I'll say, who here is a conservative? They'll raise their hands, and I'll go, who can tell me why? And a lot of them can't. Small government, okay, really it's limited government, but okay. And they really can't explain and articulate that. And you had a recent video, so don't just preach to the choir, arm them, and then send them amongst the wolves. So you got to give them, they've got to be able to convey, they got to be creative, but, as you've illustrated too, is that they have to be able to explain why they believe the way that they believe, not just that they believe that way.
Right. For me, that was one of the pet peeves, because I used to be a liberal. And when I found myself questioning the narrative, I got down to the question of well, why? Why is it so important for me to be a Democrat? Why are you a Democrat? And the only thing that they would have to tell me were accusations of the Republican Party. Well, Republicans do this and Republicans have this. Like, well, no, I didn't ask you about what the Republican Party does. I'm asking, why do you have this special affinity for the Democrat Party where you just have to be associated with them and not be a Republican? And I would hope that Republicans, like, say, for instance, if you're, and I don't want to sound ethnocentric here, forgive me if I do, if you're a Republican of color, if you're a conservative Republican of color, you know why. Because we're not going to take the crap that we take for being a Republican from Democrats who curse us and try to coerce us and so on and so forth. If you're a Republican, alienated from your family and your friends and stuff like that, being called a whitewash house Negro and all that sort of stuff, you better believe we know why we're Republicans. And we'll tell you flat out why we are.
Well, AlfonZo, I'll tell you what, man, it's been a joy talking to you. I'm glad we finally were able to do it. And so I've been watching your videos on pjtv.com for a long time. And AlfonZo Rachel, again, ZoNation, great video series. In fact, you got is it a DVD set now for the past episodes? Is that what you got going over there?
Looks like, yeah. They're doing collections of some of my work if people want to buy packages there. And I'm glad to know that people are buying them up. It's a real blessing, and thank you. All so much for grabbing them and showing support for my work.
It's good stuff. It's very entertaining. If you guys have not seen AlfonZo's work before, and of course it's pjtv.com. AlfonZoRachel.com is a website where he has his videos as well, and ZoNation is the name of the program. It's great stuff. It's always good to have you on, man. And, of course, check out his band, 20 Pound Sledge. Great rock music, dude. Very good stuff.
Thank you so much, man. Right on.
We appreciate it.